Mogul Motivation, empowering and inspiring entrepreneurs and dream chasers worldwide, 1 week at a time. Presented by True Stories Media, and I'm your host, Antoine Twiz Taylor. Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mogul Motivation. Welcome back, I'm happy that you are here. If this is your first time listening, this podcast is for the aspiring entrepreneur trying to get over that hump and make things happen. This podcast is for anybody with a dream that wants to go forward and accomplish that dream. Your story seems predetermined, right? You know, whatever life you are living, the reality you are living in, it seems predetermined, especially for those of you who have similar backgrounds like myself, who come from low income, poor socioeconomic areas and situations and families. It seems as if your story is already predetermined. If you are a black male or a black female, your story seems to be predetermined, right? You know, we already know that the educational systems in black communities across the country are subpar. You know, they do not receive the same funding. We know that this is the same story for every institution in black communities. You know, the hospitals, the school systems, the libraries, what have you. They are all lacking funding and the necessary resources to thrive. It's been the same story for black Americans in this country since slavery was abolished in 1865, and from that point on, because we were no longer property, because we were no longer tools to make money for the rich white elite, therefore we were disposable. And one way to try to treat and get rid of the disposable individuals in this country was to give them a few resources, to give them a lack of, should I say, and to exterminate us in the process. So that's why you have the prison pipeline for black males, right? Because you give them subpar schooling, you give them situations that they can't handle because they can't make money legally, therefore they get thrown into the prison system. And because they get thrown into the prison system and they catch felonies, now they can't vote, and because they can't vote, they can't influence the political structure around them because they have no vote. These are just some examples of how your story seems to be predetermined in this world. Your reality seems predetermined. And then it goes deeper than that, right? Because they tell us to go to college. So we go to college, we take out all these student loans, not knowing and not having the awareness that these student loans are going to be a burden of debt on our shoulders that is going to be very hard for us to lift and have upward mobility in this country. So therefore we struggle and we have a lot of pressure to find good jobs. We struggle and have a lot of pressure to find adequate income. Your story seems predetermined because now that you have all this debt, you have to accumulate more debt and you fall deeper into debt, and it's harder and harder to climb out of that hole and to find a sufficient income to support yourself and your family. Your story, your reality seems predetermined. As an entrepreneur, coming from a black and brown community, especially black people, your story seems predetermined because it's so hard to find adequate funding, right? It's so hard to crowdfund. It's so hard to get the necessary resources and the grants to acquire assets so you can grow your business. And sometimes it's hard to find the clientele that you need to have sufficient income and accounts receivable in your business on a consistent basis to grow and get out of one tax bracket to get to another tax bracket, and on and on. Yes, we have more black millionaires than ever before. Yeah, we have more black billionaires than ever before, but that doesn't change the fact that your story seems predetermined. It is hard, it is difficult, it is very much set in stone that we can't get out of this current situation. These are the realities that so many of us live. But what if I told you that your story is not predetermined? It seems that way. What if I told you that the reality you are living can change at any given second? What if I told you that your words and your actions create worlds? What does that mean, Antoine? It means that simply every time you speak power over yourself, every time you speak positivity over your situation, even if your situation in the current moment isn't positive, every time you move in a manner, in a way that God still has control and that God has not forgotten about you, even though it seems as if God has forgotten about you. Your words and your actions can create worlds. So therefore, this reality that you have been living can change and morph into another reality. You can create an entire different world for yourself simply by telling yourself, I don't care how hard it is right now, I'm still going to succeed. You can still create another world for yourself simply by operating in a manner that even though you are in debt, even though things are not working out in your favor, you are still moving in a manner in which you will accomplish and get what you want out of this life. You can still create a separate world for yourself. We are editors, ladies and gentlemen, and an editor means even though this story has already been written, even though these chapters have already been set in stone, you can change your story. You can edit some things. You can switch some things around, and your trajectory can go in a totally different direction at any given second. But you have to continue to speak that power over yourself. Understand that our words are deposits. Every time we say something negative, every time we entertain something negative, every time we agree and engage in something negative, that is slowly but surely keeping us in this predetermined story. We will not be able to escape because we are succumbing to the powers that be around us. But if we unlock the power in us, the power that we have received from God, then we will create a different world for ourselves. Despite the reality we are living in, we can create a much better reality, a much better world for ourselves simply by using our words. That is why it's so important that you speak affirmation to yourself. That is why it's so important that you continue to stay locked in with God and continue to pray and speak those positive scriptures over your situation. Any given moment, I know it's easier said than done because right now you don't want to hear that. Right now the bills are still due. Right now the money isn't rolling in. Right now things are hard. Right now you just want to cry. I understand all of that, and I'm not telling you that that's not real. But what I am telling you that is also real is that the power you have, the power that God has given you, is so real. It is so powerful and it's so effective, and I'm living proof of that because I have done it multiple times in my life. There have been times where I felt down and out, but then I continue to speak positivity over myself. Then I continue to talk to God. I continue to tell myself that this will turn around and I will create a better reality for myself. And then boom, there are things I have right now in my possession in 2024 that I did not have in 2018, that I did not have in 2010. But because I continue to be locked in with myself, because I continue to speak words of power over myself, I created a better reality, a better world. I edited my story. I didn't stay in that predetermined story that was already written out for me. No, I edited and I continue to close that chapter and create a better story for my life going forward. And you can continue to do it too. And I'm doing it right now in this present moment because there are things that I feel like I can't accomplish. There are things that I feel like I'm up against the wall and I have no more options. But I'm telling you, as long as I continue to speak these words of power over myself, as long as I continue to speak these words of affirmation over myself, as long as I continue to stay locked into the scripture and in God's power, watch these worlds be created in my life and these realities go from bad to great. The same thing can be said for you. You have to continue to use your words and your actions wisely, because I'm telling you, the government don't care. Your job don't care. Nobody cares. But you care. And if you truly care, then you have to act like you care. You have to treat yourself with care. You have to treat your situation with care. You can't tell yourself you're a failure. You can't tell yourself it's not going to work out. That's a predetermined story that the powers, the evil forces in this realm want you to believe. Edit your story right now by putting words of positivity into your situation, into your life, and watch your world shift. You're going to go from this world, from this reality, to a much better world with a better reality. And all the things that you want are going to start coming to you, but you have to put things into the atmosphere so they can circulate back to you like a boomerang, because the more negative things you put into the atmosphere, you're going to continue to be bogged down by that more so. Put more positivity into the atmosphere. Deposit the affirmations, deposit the word, deposit the actions, deposit the love, deposit the compassion, deposit the pureness, deposit the patience, deposit the endurance, deposit the perseverance into your atmosphere, and watch your world change for the better. You are an editor. This story that's been predetermined for you, throw it out. Continue to edit it right now in this moment. This is not how it ends. We can't change those chapters in the past, but we can change what's being written right now. We can change what's being written in the future, and that's ultimately what matters. It's never too late. Right now, no matter what's going on in your business, in your career, in your personal life, you can change it. You have the power because God has given you the power. But only you can unlock that power. Nobody else can do it. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your siblings, not your children, not your co-workers, not your spouse. Only you can do this. Only you can change your world. Only you can see the sun brighter than what it is on a cloudy day simply by speaking positivity over yourself, by simply acting and operating under the belief, under the truth that everything you want, you are deserving of it and it's in reach. Who cares what happened yesterday? We're talking about what's happening today, and we're talking about what's going to happen tomorrow. Your words create worlds. You are an editor. So that's my message today. If this podcast has benefited you in any way, shape, or form, I ask for two things as always. Number one, please leave a 5-star review. And number two, pass it on to a friend who may benefit from it as well. So let's continue to work. Let's continue to imagine reality. Imagine reality with your words and with your actions and watch that manifest and change.